How's art impactful in your life? Why shouldn't we rush our creative works? And who's the Urinator? And how does he fight crime? If you'd like to find out, then you're in the right place. Welcome to Between Views. I'm your host, Alec Koski. This podcast aims to cast light on and connect you with inspirational people, identify them as potential mentors in your journey, and share their wisdom and stories with the world. In this episode, we converse with Owen Hancock about a urinating street fighter, the impacts of Owen's previous studies, and dive deep into some personal philosophies.
And like quite often learning that way, it's more organic. You think about like back when people couldn't communicate and like they were trying to show someone fire hurts and they put their hand in it. You know, like fire's hot.
Yeah.
And like they're not communicating with like, hey, if you touch this, you're going to get fucking burnt. You know, like someone sees their foot go in the fire and they're dancing around like a maniac and everyone else goes, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
That looks shit. Yeah. No.
Might not.
Yeah. I think it comes back to that. And like, I don't know, I'm a visual learner. I've always been a visual learner. I'm not a book person.
Yeah.
When it comes to learning, I love reading I read every night, but I'm not like a book learner. I'm not an academic.
So it's more like reading for pleasure.
Yeah, I read so I can sleep.
Yeah.
But when it comes to learning stuff, I can watch like one video on YouTube and just know how to do it, or I'll just watch one person do it and see what they're doing, what their hands are doing, and then I sort of pick it up.
It's kind of crazy how quickly like we can mirror someone and just repeat that process after our eyes have seen it.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
insane how quickly
and you
can do that.
Explain it over the phone and be like, let me draw it or something. It's so much easier to see things face to face, and you just know.
Yeah.
You just know, like your brain has that part of you that just stores stuff, you know, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So visual learning. I guess visual learning ties right in with your love of art. Yeah. I'm looking around, I can see heaps of art.
Yeah.
Pretty much everywhere I look, there's some type of art.
Yeah.
I imagine most of it created by you. There's a sick one here I'm looking at. Is that it's like a rotating wave.
Oh, the mechanical wave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's all stuff, isn't it?
So where did this the love of art come from? Because that's a big influence in your life as well.
It is a massive influence.
Yeah.
I've always loved art. I've always loved, like we used to make our own comic books as kids and stuff. Yeah. Made this comic book called The Urinator. And it was about this cock that would fight crime. And it would like fight massive asses and shit. It was like showing like Godzilla-sized anuses and shit. Yeah, my parents still have them. Yeah, I just draw them all out. Yeah.
Can I get a photo of those?
Oh, I'm gonna have to dig in deep and find it. But I'm sure they'll have it somewhere. Yeah, like I used to draw out all the boxes and staple them together. I did like 14 episodes of like this dick fighting crime. So he used to walk on his balls. It was so wild. It was like year 3, dude. I was like in primary school drawing this cock fighting balls. Anyway, art's always been a massive thing. Art is where nowadays, because I still make art constantly, like I paint murals and sketch daily sort of thing. I'm always sketching. And when I was learning graphic design and industrial design, I learned how to properly sketch. It was a course. You had to do it, like a technical drawing and perspective sketching and all that sort of stuff. So art is where I go to escape making sense.
Yeah, right.
So like if you think about it, like working as an industrial designer or like I'm a sign writer now, but I studied industrial design. Working in that, it's creative jobs. You're creating stuff all the time, but it's objectively creative. It has a job to do. Everything that you make has a job to do, and a client that has to like it. So all of the decisions that you make are logically based, need to look good, has a job to do decision. It's a creative way of going about it, but it's all has to make sense, otherwise you don't get paid. And making art is a chance to not make sense.
Yeah, right.
It's the same stuff, it's the same sketching, it's the same actions, but it doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah.
You can just get lost in the nonsense. You can just scribble the most ridiculous shit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you draw in the afternoon to get the day off your chest. I made sense all day, and I'm sick of it.
Is that like a come home ritual for you? You have a little draw?
Yeah, I've started sketching every day again, which is really good. For a while there, after studying and whatnot, I didn't want to sketch too much because it's just like 4 or 5 years of constant sketching.
Yeah.
But started to get back into sketching and painting and a little bit of sculpting and stuff. Just nonsense, just garbage. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's just like emotions just getting out of you and just being silly and retarded and whatever. And art's always been big for me like that.
Yeah.
Like in high school, I failed everything except art and metalwork.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Which I was first in the year for. So
now look what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So art's always been a massive.
So do you think of art as kind of like an escape in a way?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. For sure.
Because I notice whenever I draw, colouring in's a very a very mindful practice.
Yeah.
You know, things like that are really good for your mental health. Like I sat down and did a puzzle today, something so simple, and it was just something where I was focused on one thing, and I was like, I feel a million times better all of a sudden.
Yeah,
do you get that like really positive effect from art?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. And there's nothing better than like looking back at a sketchbook that you filled, or looking back at like a canvas that you've sort of gotten halfway through painting and now it's just staring at me. But
just want to finish that off.
Yeah. And looking back and seeing what you sort of had in your mind.
Yeah.
Looking back at you.
Well, isn't that the crazy thing about drawing?
Sick. Yeah.
I was only just thinking about it the other day, like how cool drawing is, because it's literally like you can recreate the picture of what you see in your mind, which I still can't comprehend how I don't really understand it, how we see something with our eyes closed.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't really get it. I've never understood it. A lot of people call it the mind's eye. Depends what sort of route you want to go down.
Yeah.
But like that thing that we can visualize without any actual light, it just exists in
it's pure imagination.
Yeah,
it's
really cool.
Flying through a meat lump in your skull. It's just fucking weird.
And then with our hand, well, not even necessarily our hand, but with some medium between our brain and the page, you can make this.
You make it. You can build universes in that
fully
paper.
Didn't exist.
Yeah, you can build universes in that paper.
It's unbelievable.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Do you have like an artwork that's like one of your favourite ones you ever made?
That I've ever made?
Yeah. Do you have one that you just like really love and you're just like, how have I thought of that or something like that? Or?
No, I'm super bipolar with art. Hey, like that art that I make, like I'll dig something for like 20 minutes and then I'll burn it. I don't really hold on to too much.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Do you find that that's good for your creative process though?
Oh yeah.
Because I've heard about that as like an actual method that people use.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
To actually keep their creative spirit going is they get rid of all their old stuff.
Tear it up.
Yeah.
Rip it up, man.
Yeah. Back to art.
We're both dehydrated and rehydrated.
Yeah.
But no, art, art's always been, there it is, it's the dog whistle. Oh no, here we go. We also have an addition
dogs. Dogs joining us now for the podcast. What's it like being a dog?
No
response.
Yeah, his tail was wagging.
Yeah, his tail did wag.
But yeah, no, art for me has always been massive. It's always been a massive part of I guess you could say, like, it's stupid to say it's been a massive part of my creative process, but it is. Like, I've always had art-based interests in sculpting and painting and drawing and all that sort of stuff. I always come from but like the weird thing is I never got that from my folks. People always like people who are really creative come from like,
can be typically passed down.
Yeah, exactly. But
parents will play an instrument, or they'll be artists.
Yeah. Neither of my parents play instruments.
Yeah,
but I do.
So where did it come from then? Just year 3 started drawing cock and balls and away you went?
Cock and balls fighting crime, man. No, I don't know. Just always loved it. Loved it, and I think like I was good at it.
Yeah.
Like,
that's just saying that you like naturally were born with, like fully part of your nature, gravitated towards it.
Absolutely, yeah. Art is massive, and like studying art at school was sick, and going to art galleries and stuff now, and it's I get a lot of inspiration from it. So it's sort of like my little escape. It is. I'm sick of making sense. I'm just going to make some stupid shit.
Yeah,
just going to draw like a spaceship with like a nose. I'm just going to draw sus shit.
It sounds like
a really good way to keeps things in balance for you.
Yeah. It is. It's like having another relationship, both creative.
Yeah.
But one's like, but then you can go the other way.
Yeah.
You can get lost in the art hole and be like, oh, hang on, I need to make some shit that makes sense all of a sudden. So you can bounce between it. You know what I mean? Like you can sort of like get too stuck in the artworks, and then your work sort of starts to suffer a bit. Like the stuff that you actually make.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hang on, this is rubbish. It's creative.
Yeah.
But it's rubbish. No one's going to pay for this. So I need to go back to making stuff that makes sense.
Yeah. What's something you've made recently that makes sense? Your boards, obviously, Owen.
Boards. I just at work built a massive lollipop sign. This is a big aluminium thing. It was like wrapped in aluminium and powder coated.
Like a lollipop, as in like the candy version.
It's like shaped like a lollipop.
Yeah.
It's huge though. Like the day job is a make sense job.
Yeah.
So it's always like CNC machining.
Yeah.
Constructing huge frames, doing lighting, LED work, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Electrical work.
It's kind of cool because it's still creative process and it's still
it is.
artistic things. It's just a lot more like regimented and you're following rules.
Exactly. Yeah. You're following standards. You're being creative within the confine of it has to work. It has to pass standards. It has to be safe. It has to last X amount of years.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a creative way of working around a job.
Yeah.
Which is what's so good about it, which is kind of why I enjoy doing it.
Yeah. So I've got a few questions for you for kind of like the final part. One thing that I've been exploring and kind of like one of the reasons I started this podcast in the first place.
Which I listened to a couple the other day. Yeah, it was sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stoked, man.
Thank you.
Crushing it.
So the reason I've sort of started it, I was looking for a solution to how I can somehow help others using the skills that I have.
Okay. Yeah.
And I remember reading this Japanese book called Ikigai, which is like the balance between these like four. It's like this mad Venn diagram, and then in the center of it is Ikigai. It's the perfect thing, and I think the Venn diagram is like.
So I just wanted to look this up to make sure that we had it right. So I quickly checked, and what I found was that Ikigai was what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at. In between each of those, so between what you are good at and what you love is your passion. What you love and what the world needs is your mission. What the world needs and what you can be paid for is your vocation. And what you can be paid for and what you're good at is your profession. And right at the center of this Venn diagram is Ikigai, and it's supposed to be the perfect spot for you to be working.
I feel like looking at your business with the surf world, with the Bullets and Owen Surfcraft, that helps people to have fun.
Yeah.
Like, what's your angle on that? Like, how do you find in your life, and it doesn't have to be in the surfcraft or anything like that, but like, how do you find that you help others? Because I think that's really a lot of what we're here to do. Like, how do you help others out?
Well, if we're going to talk about surf stuff, then make boards for people to have fun. Yeah, that's like the aim of the game. How do I help people out day to day? General? Sure. Try and be patient with people.
Yeah.
I always try and I never hide the way I do things. I'm always happy to share what I've learnt.
Yeah, right. Sharing knowledge.
I'm always happy to if people ask me like, "Oh, how did you do that?" Then I'll never be like, "Fuck off." You know, I'll always take my time to show someone how I've done that because someone showed me in a sense as well. And I'm always happy to pass on that sort of stuff. I don't know, just try and not be a prick. Yeah. Generally, like, just try and not be a dickhead.
Yeah.
I don't know. Try and make everyone try and make where I'm at better, in a sense, even if it's like artworks
Yeah.
that you give to people.
Yeah.
Or
Do you give art as gifts often?
oh yeah. I make stuff for people all the time.
Yeah, and there's nothing that's better than like a handmade gift, because it's like, wow, that's actually someone's full-blown time and energy that's gone into it.
Yeah.
I feel like buying a gift for someone also represents that too, because you went to work, you traded time in the first place. But when it's like you skip that part and it's just like, here's something I've directly made and now you have it.
Thought of you when I made it.
Yeah.
And like I thought of these little things that you might like, which I added to it.
Yeah.
It's like this real nice thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If helping people, I'm always happy to help. Always happy to talk to someone. Like, oh, that's good. The dog can open doors.
Yeah, they're out of here.
Yeah. Boring. Yeah. Fucking sorry. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about dog stuff.
Yeah. No treats here. No. Yeah, I'm always happy to help.
Yeah.
I always try and help, and I never shy away from giving a hand. You know, like if someone's stuck somewhere, like bogged or whatever. Like it's always a good thing to like help out. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always comes back tenfold, I find. Like when you are helping people, it just comes right back around, and like that's almost sometimes the exact same thing you did to help someone else will come right back for you.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've always found. It's kind of like seems to be like a bit of a universal rule, and you know that's why there's a lot of sayings about that, like do to others as you want done to yourself.
Exactly.
That kind of stuff.
I was just talking about The Apprentice to that.
Well, yeah.
Actually, yeah. Always, right. Yeah, frequently enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of a coincidence.
Yeah, it is a freaky coincidence.
So what about veggie and plant gardening? Would you say that's a passion of yours, or have you kind of learnt that?
We always grew up with like a bit of a food garden. My parents have always been like big on gardens. My dad especially big on garden stuff. Mariah's the green thumb. She's got 4 green fingers, man. It's she's a freak with it. And when we bought this place, we had heaps of land. We got like 1,000 square meters here. Yeah. And when we bought it, the old owner, they were really old, there's not as many garden beds as we have now. We put heaps more in. I'll show you the side another day. We've got a whole other food patch going down there. Yeah. Apart from the one at the back. But they had what garden beds were here, bark chipped, weed matted, and had like plastic flowers, and there was like a fucking pet cemetery. It was really weird. Like, it was like fucking strange. But it gave us a blank slate. Absolutely blank slate.
Never found any bones.
No, but some buried asbestos, which is sick.
Good. Yeah, good.
At least we didn't pay for it. But yeah. But yeah, so we had this blank slate of gardens to put in, and that concept of, I guess, growing your own food is sick. Yeah. Like you would know.
It's one thing I really love is veggie gardening.
Yeah, it's hectic.
Yeah, it's such a rewarding feeling to like know that all of that time and energy you spent looking at those and watering them and checking them for bugs and just essentially caring for them, and then they turn right back around, the veggies, and they care right back for you.
You get food out of it.
Yeah. And
it
like
comes out of the ground.
Yeah, and like your house is filled with plants, like out in the lounge room and stuff.
We got I think maybe 300-400 indoor plants.
Yeah, there's a lot, and they're all perfectly healthy.
Oh, Mariah's she's a gun, man. Yeah. She's so good at it. I help out where I can, but compared to her, she's she's the brains.
Have you learned a lot from Mariah?
Oh, fucking heaps.
Yeah.
Heaps, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heaps and heaps and heaps.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be paying attention if you didn't. But growing food's good. Nothing better than like when we were growing a corn. Yeah. Like you get home from work and you just go out and like snap one straight off the plant and just fucking dig into it. Like it's so good.
Yeah. Fruits are unreal when you get the fruit. Yeah.
Yeah. And like we had this we never really got to fully put it into effect, but I had like this crazy concept one time. We were like, I'll shape boards out of wood, and then I'll use the shavings as mulch for the veggie plants.
Yeah.
and then we'll pick the veggies, and then I'll cook them with utensils that I carved out of the offcuts of the boards. And I'll eat them to satisfy the hunger that had been created by riding the boards. And I was like, it's a fucking cycle,
It's
man.
a cycle,
It's a total cycle, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, all our utensils I've carved out of offcuts of boards.
Yeah.
And it sort of got most of the way there. But, yeah.
Do you try and use, is that like a bit of your philosophy in a way? Like you try and use everything you have?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And make do with what you have.
Mm.
You hear a lot of people that are like, I'd love to do that, but I don't have a bandsaw.
Yeah.
Or I don't have a workshop. Or I don't have this and that. But I sort of think that if you're passionate enough, you'll always find a way to get it made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it might not be the prettiest way to get it made, but you'll get it there.
Yeah.
And like the first 200 boards that I ever made, I did all the paint and varnish work in our 1-bedroom apartment, which was like caravan sized. So like you've smelt polyurethane,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
That? Imagine that in like a caravan,
Yeah.
and there was like one little nook that was supposed to have a washing machine, and we didn't have a washing machine.
Yeah.
So we could just do boards in that little nook.
And that was that.
And that was that. And we were high for that whole year. Of fucking fumes, eh? Like, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But, like, you find a way. You
Yeah.
find a way. And I'm
Most
always,
creative year ever.
pretty much, yeah. But if you look back, the drawings are probably rubbish. But, yeah, I'm a big believer in that sort of stuff. Like, make do
Yeah.
with the tools that you've got. Make do with what you have got.
Yeah.
You know, and, like, the only thing that'll really hold you back is just being like, I can't fucking do that. I don't have like this tool. Or something
Yeah.
like that.
So you found a lot of value in like a make it work sort of philosophy.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right. Well, I guess when you first start out your business, you have to do a lot of making it work. You have to do a lot of this is all I got, so I guess that's how I'll make
That's how it's
it.
gonna be. Yeah.
So-
Definitely.
Having gone through the whole process and gotten to where you are now, it's kind of like the last question actually, isn't it? That was the one that was left by Nash.
Nash.
I guess we can put these into the same, one and the same. So the question that I was going to ask was, what advice would you give to someone starting like a similar kind of business?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then, if there's a personal one, what advice would you give to your past self? You can kind of kill two birds with one stone, or you can answer both separately.
We'll
Do it
go
as you
both,
like.
man. We'll go
Yeah, let's
both.
do both.
Advice to someone trying to get into something like this.
Yeah.
Is don't expect to make a lot of money straight away.
Mm.
It's gonna suck for a bit,
Yeah.
and it has to suck for a bit.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't go headlong into debt. Let it grow. Take time. Things take time.
Mm.
Take the time. Don't go too headlong into it. Get yourself in a bunch of debt. Buy a bunch of tools and shit like that, and expect to see an immediate return, because it doesn't.
Don't work like
It's
that.
a niche thing, man.
Mm.
It's not. You're not like JS pumping out fucking epoxy boards from Guangdong or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like
Yeah.
you're not dealing with big business. So if you're into niche making things for income, be happy with what you make, not with how much money you make. Focus more on what's leaving your hands and not what's coming cash wise into it.
Yeah.
Obviously, don't go fucking homeless or something. You still
yeah.
your time's worth it.
Yeah, of
like you
course.
still need to cover your bases, but
Yeah.
don't start something off and it just be like you see heaps of people like, oh, start a business, put heaps of time and effort into the Instagram, get all the influencer shit going on, get shirts and hats and fucking stickers and
Yeah.
all this carry on, and start pumping out like memes and crap, trying to drill up a bunch of people watching, and then you're not making stuff. Focus 100% on what you're making.
Yeah.
And then I sort of feel like if you're making good stuff, people will see it.
Yeah.
And people will sort of flock towards it as long as it's good. It's got to be good.
Yeah.
It's got to be good. So that would be my advice for someone starting out is don't worry too much about money. Treat it like a side gig until it can stand on its own.
Yeah.
Just make sure it's good.
Focus on the product.
Focus on the product, yeah. Don't try and get the 15 seconds of it. What's that saying? Like, it takes 10 years to make an overnight success?
Yeah, right.
Do that. Spend 10 years sucking.
Yeah.
Just chew on it for 10 years before you
Before you decide whether you're done with it or not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like focus on the actual product that you got to make.
Yeah, because that's actually the reason you get into it in the first place, right?
Yeah. No one gets into something like this because they enjoy PayPal invoices.
No.
Like no one's like, oh, I can't wait to send fucking invoices. You're not doing it for that. You're like, I can't wait for someone to ride this.
Yeah.
I can't wait for someone to get like the best wave of their life on this.
Yeah.
That's why you're doing it, and like the effort that you put into it at the start is going to ensure that person's going to enjoy that. So I don't know. I'd focus on that. And what's the other question?
It's basically the same one, but I guess more personally. So like it's left by Nachelle Alba, who was our last guest, and the question was,
my next question will be, what advice would you give to your past self?
So I guess this one we could probably go down more of like a you to you sort of route.
Yeah. Problem is, I know my past self, and majority of advice I would have been given, I'd be like, get fucked. But I guess the advice I would give myself would be, take time. Don't rush.
Yeah.
Don't rush. Nothing good comes from rushing. And the more I'm working in industries where we make stuff now, the more I really see it. Don't rush.
Yeah.
There's that shit saying, if you wait till the last minute, it only takes a minute.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Don't rush. Like, take the time, plan it properly, start from the start, and make sure every step along the way is right. So that would be my advice to myself is, don't rush. Because back in the day, I used to rush. And you can see the difference.
Yeah.
You can see the difference. So that'd be my advice.
So you kind of learned to live more slowly over time.
In a sense, yeah, for sure. Like, we're so busy at the moment with just life. Everything's crazy busy. So it's kind of hard to live slow most days. But if you're in the act of making something or drawing something or a creative project, don't rush it. The first solution isn't always the best solution.
No.
You've just hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
But don't rush. Let it simmer. Give yourself time to really, really get your whole head around it before you make a decision.
Like you said before, like putting it down for a bit.
Yeah,
and letting the subconscious chew on it.
Chew on it.
Yeah.
Salivate on it. Let it stew. Like and you'll come up with something better. You might not.
Yeah.
You might not. You might come back with the same fucking solution and go, oh, well, that's it.
Yeah.
But if something does crop up into your mind that is a better solution, great. Done. Job's done. Sick.
Job's good.
Heaps good, yeah. Fuck off. Invoices in the mail, mate. All right.
Yeah, back to invoice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, nice. All right, mate. Well, to be honest, we've pretty much covered everything that I was hoping to talk to you about more or less throughout the podcast. The final part that we always do, of course, is a bit of, passing it on. So I don't know if you'd thought of a question that you'd like to pass to the next guest.
Who's the next guest?
Can't tell you, mate.
How can you not tell me?
Yeah, I can't tell you.
So I can't load the question.
Yeah, can't let you load it. It's just going to be Misk. I also don't know who it is.
Oh, okay. You motherfucker. It's me.
Yeah, you again.
Come back weekly. Yeah. We'll do this weekly.
Yeah.
There's a song that I love by Explosions in the Sky.
Yeah.
And the song title is Remember Me as a Time of Day. And I love that because I think that's it says a lot about a person. The question would be, if you were to be remembered by a certain time of day, what time of day would it be?
Yeah.
Because I'm a dusk guy.
Dusk guy?
I'm a dusk guy.
If you asked me to say you're one, I just would have said dawn.
Yeah, but that's because we
Just because
surf
we
it.
hang out all the time at dawn.
You've got a biased opinion. I'm a dusk guy. I'm a massive dusk guy.
Yeah.
Not the sunset. That's the cum shot. I'm not interested in that. It's the glow after it. You know, it's that fucking when it's still got a little bit of purple in there, a little bit of blue in there. It goes to the grey behind you, and you can sit there and just like think about whatever the fuck you want to think about. You know, stare at the sky and think about it.
Yeah.
I love dusk, sunrise and sunset. It's a sugar hit. You know, it's. The grower is the dusk. It's not the shower. So I'm a dusk guy.
Okay.
The next fucking guest might be, I don't know, midday kind of person. Might be an afternoon tea, but I don't know. But
yeah.
What time of day would you want to be remembered by?
Okay, so the question is, what time of day would you like to be remembered by?
Remembered by, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
What's yours?
My one, I'm going to say it's dawn.
Dawny.
I feel like
full of prosperity. The whole day ahead of you.
Yeah, I just think my favourite thing about the dawn is it's the quiet of that time of day. And like it's actually pre-dawn. I actually kind of prefer the pre-dawn when it's still dark. Like for example, like that drive into the beach where it's just like nothing's going on. There's like one car on the road.
There's like one dude jogging his dog along the side of the road, like 4:30 or something. Yeah.
There's just something so quiet about that. It's a really good time to be in solitude because you naturally get it. It naturally gives you solitude if you're awake at that time. And I've always been awake at it. Like it's just been a time of day that's I've just been there for it all the time, and it always has done positive and healthy things for me. So the dawn
and dusk, man.
Yeah.
We're the outskirts.
Yeah, I know.
We are.
Yeah. We'll have to get some friends who can be the middle bit.
Oh, fuck them. No. Too much energy.
All right, well, I just want to say thank you so much for giving me your time and attention and like the information you've shared. There's so many little nuggets of wisdom. I'm almost certain that there's going to be people who will listen to it and just be like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I needed to hear. Because there was a few times that happened for me. So thank you once again for coming on to Between Views.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. Again, come back next week.
Yeah. Between Views at Owen's house.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll set up a studio in here.
Yeah.
A little beer fridge. Just
Never leave.
Never leave. Just pump us out. It's a pleasure, man. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to part 3 of our interview with Owen. If you enjoyed what you heard, please jump over to Owen Surfcraft and give him a follow. Secondly, if you listen regularly and want to hear more, then please help us out by leaving a star rating and comment, and we can continue to bring you more and more episodes. Remember to like or share it with a friend if it reminds you of them, and to leave a review in the section below. Or, if you really found the information valuable, you're welcome to purchase me a scrumptious cup of Make More podcast juice at buymeacoffee.com/betweenviews. I just want to give a shout out to our supporter MX, who just shouted Between Views 3 coffees. Thanks so much. In other news, Between Views is looking for collaborators in Instagram and social media. So if you think that you're kind of starting up in that area, then reach out to us and let's see what we can do together. Finally, if you know someone who deserves to be interviewed or just have some feedback, then send us an email at betweenviewsbv@gmail.com or give us a message again on Instagram. Thanks again and see you soon. Between Views.